Hello Exiles, it's Remy here. Today I want to do a quick video about talking some of the issues you might face when you're starting Toxic Rain on 3.15. So before I start this video, I want to quickly apologize for all my in this video because this video is not scripted at all and it is a bit rushed. So expect a little bit of minimal editing and I hope you guys don't mind about it. So anyway, get to the point. So in 3.15, a lot of gems have been nerfed, right? And a lot of gems have receive their mana multipliers. So one of the big nerfs on Toxic Rain on 3.15 is the mana cost, not the damage itself. So if you look at my guide right here, you can see this is 3.14, I have 3.8 mil DPS, and on 3.15, I would have 3.1 mil DPS. It's not a big of a deal, but if you look at the mana cost, is 42 and 69. So this is a huge mana nerf right here that would actually impact our build. So there are a lot of guides that did not mention about this particular nerf, and a lot of guides did not mention anything about how to solve this particular issue. So if we look at Zizran's guide,
can the player have mana issues? Probably. Mana is obviously taking a huge nerf this patch.
So he's talking about that you are probably gonna have mana issues. No, you are definitely gonna have mana issues, right? And this is definitely an issue that we need to know about. Anyway, assuming that he has enough mana, right? He's using a cool ring. You can see right here. And I have 229 mana, and I'm simulating the nerfs with 74 mana cost TR with the Voidbringer. And as you can see, just 3 fires, I'm out of mana almost instantly. If I use a pre-nerf Enduring Mana Flask, you can see I'm like barely sustaining the mana. So if the worst come to worst that the mana flask has been nerfed and you cannot sustain even with mana flask, you're gonna have a bad time. So my issue on resolving this mana issue is through Deadeye. So when you're clearing, you're not gonna have mana issues when you're clearing, because you could literally grab something like Soul Siphon for mana gain on kill, or just, you know, mana flask. But on bosses, you're not gonna have mana sustain all of the time because you may run out of flask charges on boss fights. So my particular way to solve this is through Focal Point. So Focal Point grants you 75 effect of your marks. So this mitigates the downsides of the 66% curse effectiveness that bosses have. So you would have almost 25 mana gain on hit when enemy are hit by your attack. So if we look at my guide right here, I did a little bit short experiment on about the mana nerfs. So as you can see, my first few hits are not gonna sustain my mana, but once my Toxic Rain are raining in, you can see I'm sustaining mana without need of any mana flask. You can see right here, it's totally fine. So there's a big downside on this particular setup, because if the bosses move a lot, let's say Hunter, you would definitely have issue and you are definitely not gonna sustain your mana. So Hunter is definitely a very scary boss that Toxic Rain is gonna suffer. So you expect you might need some like boss carries on Hunter. I don't know. But anyway, this is the main issue that Toxic Rain builds are gonna suffer. So this is the main reason why I am suggesting Daylight instead of other Ascendancy. Maybe you would say Pathfinder, but I don't think Pathfinder is really great in terms of damage wise, because you gain a lot of flask skill L, but you don't gain a lot of damage, right? About the chaos skills have increased AoE, I don't think this is gonna be a lot of change. I'm not sure. And 50% more chaos damage is definitely fine, but if you compare with Deadeye, the triple mirror charger is definitely gonna be way on top compared to Pathfinder. And about Raider, I think Raider is more of a hardcore ascendancy instead of a softcore, because a lot of people are talking about the alignment immunity, right? In softcore, you don't need any alignment immunity. You just need freeze immunity. You don't care about ignite or shock, right? Like, if you read any guides in 3.14 or below, have you ever seen a guide that suggests that you must go a shock immunity flask or you must go an ignite immunity flask? Maybe ignite is an exception for ES builds because ignite would shaft the recovery for ES builds. But anyway, if you want to solve freeze immunity issues,
I'm not
so
up to that just
you
yet.
could just literally go to the bench and get this cannot be frozen and call it a day, or you can just use flask as a temporarily solution towards this. It's not big of a deal. So I don't think that alignment immunity is very important for softcore. Hardcore, yes, but not softcore again. And about the ascendancy nerfs, I don't think this is gonna be a big of a deal. So yeah. And this ascendancy is a little bit useless because my purchase mark is gonna give me frenzy charge. Let me show you. So on the quality, you could see right here, cursed enemies have 5% chance to grant frenzy charge on hit. So I'm gonna definitely sustain my frenzy charges on bosses. So compared to this Deadeye, you're not gonna get much. So this particular ascendancy is kind of voided in a way. And people are talking about dodge on Raider and comparing with Deadeye. So dodge, yes, it is a good defense, but on Raider, on Deadeye, you have 30% less damage because you get 10 Gale Force stacks, but it's more about like 8 to 9 stacks, so maybe 24, 27 less damage taken. So this is a one-shot prevention. And besides that, focal point grants 25% less damage taken from other enemies. So this means that, let's say for example, Zana is marked. Let's say I cast Poacher's Mark on Zana. Nico and Kirat will do 25% less damage towards me, but Zana will still do the original damage. So this is very great on clearing because the monsters are gonna do less damage, but on single target, because there are no other monsters near it, so you're not gonna be able to utilize the less damage taken part. But anyway, for the dodge that granted by Raider, you could actually just, invest in small cluster jewels to give you more dodge. So yeah, I think that Deadeye is still on the top because when you give more investment, it's gonna be outperforming Raider anyway. About the Raider phasing, I have tested this. You just grant, yeah, you just take this 1 point, 10% chance to grant phasing on kill, and it's more than enough to sustain your phasing for clearing. Another issue I want to talk about is investment issues. So a lot of people will be starting Toxic Ring on 3.15. So just in case that the gear are gonna be skyrocket in price, I'm gonna suggest some budget alternatives. So again, Curate and Tabula, there are no much options here, but you don't really need minus mana cost rings like very early on. You could actually drop some of the gems, maybe replace concentrated effect with something like Swift Affliction, because Swift Affliction has a lower mana multiplier. So after the nerf, this is gonna be 1.5 and this is gonna be 1.4. So Swift Affliction is gonna be a little bit less DPS, but it's gonna give you a little bit easier time on sustaining your mana. So these two gear are enough for you to do T16 maps. I have done it on my Twitch live, and I could definitely say that it definitely works. It's not gonna feel the best, but definitely works. And about the defenses that we are gonna utilize on this build, it's gonna be the same: Amalur's Immortal Call, Increased Duration, and Enhance. And for the fourth link, we are gonna use Efficacy instead, because Efficacy gives us more duration. So since the second wind nerf, we are not gonna use second wind anymore. And I also don't recommend using Veteran's Awareness because our cooldown recovery is gonna be all-time low, and our Immortal Call cooldown is gonna be pretty high. And yeah, I don't really recommend using Veterans Awareness unless you invest in CDR boots. So I think this is all from my video, and I hope this particular video helps you in your league start and helps you on narrowing down the ascendancies and give you some expectations on what to expect on league starting on TR. Oh, and one more thing, TR is not a bossing build. You're definitely not gonna deal a lot of boss damage, single target damage.